a couple things to keep an eye on. Chris Paul's shooting percentage is something to keep an eye on.
Now, he's 38. So,
that's right.
You know, I'm not saying, that's why that's happening, but that's what happens when you're 38. You kind of, lose some of your legs or whatnot. But, Steiny, for them to get to where they want to get to and be a factor, and their smarts is the best attribute of this team with the addition of Chris Paul. So I'm not jumping off that. But there are going to be games where they need him to score. And right now, that's an issue. Yeah,
I mean, right now, Chris Paul shooting 32%, I guess, from the field.
31,
but the thing, 2 years ago, if you look at this is one of those things that I think we're gonna watch. We're gonna see a big part of the decline. And I like Chris Paul, but the reality of the situation is he's about a 48% shooter from the field for most of his career.
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago, I want to say he shot 49% from the floor.
Let's go.
Last year, he shot 44. So he dropped 5 percentage points last year in the regular season. And this year, he's off to a really bad start. So that's sometimes what happens when guys get older. They just don't shoot the ball as well as they have, or they have in the past. I don't know how, I'm not saying he's going to shoot 32% all year, but I think you got to be ready for some dip with all their older guys in terms of shooting the ball.
I'll say this to that too. What I do like about it, Steiny, and again, he's cold right now. I don't feel like he's not taking the shot. You know what I mean? So it ain't got to that. He's shooting. He knows when it's like basketball's a game of rhythm. I need to shoot it. He's not shying away from the shot. We saw Corey Joseph, only 3 minutes, Steiny, but I'm just saying early on we haven't seen a lot of him, but I expect him to get some more run here soon too.
Why?
Just because he can handle the rock, and what did we talk about him when we sat down with him? You look at his 3-point percentage and his percentage from the field last year in Detroit, you would be pleasantly surprised.
So you're going to keep – who are you taking out?
Well, I think
Chris,
that was –
Are you taking Curry out?
No. So
Chris Paul?
Who did we have last night?
Well, Chris Paul and Pajemski.
Pajemski got in there after not being in the G. They sent him down, then he came back up, but that'll work itself out. So I don't got one guy. Steiny, you're out. Here comes Evan. You know what I mean?
What was one thing here? It was, if y'all had a chance to, wow, this is funny. This is the kind of thing from the 925 that, he's right, but, he's got to go a little deeper, 925. If you had a chance to watch the game, they literally smoked 10, 12 point-blank layup shots. Right. It's because Sarge isn't a great finisher in there. And Ludy's not a great finisher in there. And Draymond's not a great finisher in there. And they're sitting in there with Mobley and Jared Allen and big guys. I mean, That's what's going to happen when you don't have a big-time finisher. 888-957-9570 is the number. Warriors, they get beat by Cleveland. They're still 5-2, third best record in the Western Conference. I still think we'd all agree the season's gotten off to a pretty good start. They're 4-1 on the road after only 11 wins last year. Where are you with the Golden State Warriors? The only thing that happened last night was some of their old bugaboos kind of returned. They have an ability sometimes when they're playing against a good team to look really small. And I thought that was the case once again last night. They just didn't have enough size.
What will you give me for this? This has nothing to do with size, but Steiny, I feel like I'm watching it more now from the Warriors defensively than I ever have. Guys seem to be leaking out on them. Like how many times at Cleveland, there's a guy ahead, dunk. I saw Sacramento without De'Aaron Fox kind of do the same thing. So I've seen it more now, especially OKC Friday night. Guys not getting back. Wiggins missed a shot yesterday and then hit and got beat down court. Like, that can't happen.
It's defensive balance. I mean, different teams have different kind of rules in terms of who should be the first guy back. I mean, some teams, I know of some teams that just basically say the one man has to be the first guy back, the two man has to be the second man back. But if the one man penetrates, if Steph penetrates and can't finish near the rim, it's pretty much ridiculous to expect that he's going to be able to get back on defense. That's where like the number two guys got to fill in.
It was
they
weird.
Lost it a couple times, for sure.
Thus far, early on, you got Clay closing the game, hitting his game winner with .02, and Curry doing the same Friday. Steiny, there wasn't a juncture and I got to be careful here. There wasn't too many last night to where I said they got within 6 in the fourth, and I go, here they come. They're going to run them down. But they just couldn't get the loose rebounds or stop Cleveland in the paint. Again, 58 points for the Cavs in the paint. You ain't going to win many games like that.
Yeah, I was on my way into work today, and I was listening to the Morning Row, Shasky and Bonte, and they were talking a lot about Wiggins and how Wiggins is off to a slow
start. I thought it was getting a little better in my world. 17 Friday night, and last night, 29 minutes, 8 points, Steiny. 5 rebounds.
My fault.
Yeah. Well, you got to ride with him or die. You've got to figure it out. But what I don't like about this version of Wiggins, if it's back to K-Wig, this is not because you had a sabbatical or you were out or rusty. This is you, after last year, you kind of, no-showed against the Lakers. So I am concerned moving forward just about the aggressiveness nature or their lack of dude, you got to bring it every night. And we're not asking you to score 30, but man, 8 points is pretty pedestrian. 3 of 9. It looked like his shot is not. He ain't comfortable. And then he'll hit a couple and you're like, there it is. Let's go. Little fadeaway, turn around.
I haven't said that yet.
No, I'm saying, no, you know me. I'm like, there it is, Wig.
What is?
He can't get hot. The microwave just.
10 years in. 10 years in, and we're still saying,
I hate when
boy, he needs to be aggressive.
He sound like Twitter.
Well, he's older now. You got to give him time.
I mean, I've been thinking a lot about Wiggins. Feels like something's going on with him.
Dude, wow.
And here's where I'll put a hypothetical. This is a hypothetical. I'm going to throw it out there. I'm going to use Sal's brother, Sal Castaneda.
Sal has a brother?
Yeah.
What's his name? Just call him Sal's brother.
Sal's brother. I saw Sal yesterday, and he goes, yeah, my brother thought you were really being a little too hard on Draymond Green on Friday.
Wow.
I said, well, shut up. I said, tell your brother to hit the pike. I said, what do you mean? He's like, well, he just said you're... And I started thinking about what I'd said, and what I'd said was that, Jordan Poole in 4 or 5 years here was a problem one time, and Draymond Green's been here 10, 12 years, and he's been a problem multiple times. Yeah. So I just think it's unfair to say it's Poole. Anyway, what if I told you, this is a hypothetical.
No, I'm all ears.
Hypothetical. We all know Wiggins and Poole were close. I mean, what if Wiggins just ain't into it anymore?
Then he's not a pro.
Okay, well, but...
You know what I mean? I hear you, and I'm not even mad at that, but that don't pass the
sniff test. What if he's over Draymond? What if Wiggins is just over Draymond?
But, hey, you might be right, but don't sabotage yourself. I'm not saying he's doing it on purpose, nor are you, but you got to snap out of that. Well, this ain't the 5th grade, and little Johnny moved away.
It is the 5th grade. It's a sewing circle, the NBA, and the minute guys don't get what they want, a lot of them pout. I'm not saying Wiggins is doing that. What I'm saying is, I thought, if something's wrong with Wiggins, forget if something's wrong with Wiggins, well, I thought the chemistry issue was solved from last year.
Yeah. See, we can't put his bad play. I'm not going there yet, his bad play on what went down. It's just he's got to take ownership.
Maybe he's just not into being here. And if maybe he's not into being here, what if Draymond has something to do with it?
Nah, they would know that, man.
They might know it right now, Daryl.
Yeah, I ain't there yet.
I'm not there either. Yeah. I'm not there either. But it's just one of those things where if,
he keeps doing this, Kuminga's going to pass his ass up. That's what's going to happen.
Maybe.
That's what's going on, Andrew. Steiny, both sides of the ball, especially offensively, he's one of your most polished to me. Defensively, you can go get their best guy. You can stay in their way. I don't know where that guy's at, but I'm telling you, if you keep sleepwalking like this, Jonathan Kuminga's coming. And he's coming because you're letting him arrive sooner than anybody expects, because we can't have you go out there and get 8 points. You got to play with reckless abandon. That's all I'm asking. I know all the shots. Like Chris Paul's shot's not falling.
Right.
There's no doubt he's mentally and 100% invested. He's all in. You can see it.
Okay.
But Drew is back to K-Wig. And
He's always been
But this is why I love Coach Kerr. The other night after Friday's game, he said to the media, we can't get to being the best version of ourselves without Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah.
Like, that's that's telling Andrew. Like, we need you. It's early, but come on. I love Kerr for that.
Who else do you say that about? That's the whole issue with Wiggins. You don't have to say that about Steph or Draymond or even Clay. Mm-hmm. But you have to pull teeth with Wiggins.
Wow.
And I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why. But if I'm like, this is where I'm sick and tired of it. It's like if Steve Kerr wants to say, well, in order for us to get to where we need to be, we need Wiggins to be at his best. Well, he's been at his best 1 year in his career. Like 1 year. He turned it on for the Warriors. And he was instrumental in them winning a championship. Give him a year and a half. Like, I'm just sick and tired of people talking about Andrew Wiggins like this is the anomaly with Andrew Wiggins. Like, he's got to come out and he's got to be aggressive. He's not. He never has been. So I think we've got to change our expectations with Wiggins a little bit.
Wow. Well, then that's a curveball.
And maybe
they got to deal with on the fly. If you're right,
maybe you bring him off the bench and tell him when he goes into a game, just shoot, just try to be aggressive. I know you hate that, Andrew.
Well, 3 of 9 from the field, 1 of 4 from the free throw line, and this is a guy that when he's going, he can get to the free throw line 8 to 10 times a game, I believe.
And make 4.
And the 415 text in, Andrew was crashing the offensive glass yesterday, and I bring it up, he had 3. Just talking about effort, but again, Steiny, 8 points is unacceptable in 26 minutes when you possess what I feel he does offensively. And defensively, I didn't even see him out there.
888-957-9570 is the number. Warriors, they're 5-2. Still a pretty good start for the Golden State Warriors, but was there anything in yesterday's game against the Cavs that worries you a little bit? They had a barn burner on Friday in Oklahoma City. They won 2 games at the buzzer with 0.2 of a second left. They come in last night to Cleveland. They get beat. Now they go to Detroit. Detroit's a team that beat them last year.
This is James Wiseman.
Twice, right?
Yeah, right.
Both places.
Yep, Sadiq Bey here.
Better be careful. Yep. Better be careful.
That's a different team. They ain't playing around.
Who?
Already Warriors on the road. They're road Warriors this year.